All right. So the question is, what is one thing, what did I even ask? I got distracted. Apologies. But the question is, what is the one thing that makes you uncomfortable about presentations? Is it when it comes to doing your slides, or when it comes to actual presentation, like actually talking, or when it comes to brainstorming? So one of these three things. What is it that makes you most uncomfortable about the process of um, creating a presentation or preparing for a presentation? Is it the actual presentation, like the verbal talking part, or the part of designing your own slides and thinking of what to use or what to do? Or is it the part of even brainstorming or doing research on what you want to be on your slide? So I want everybody to go to the chat box now and then put their responses. So I'm waiting. So what makes you creating slides? Okay. Yeah, Ruth doesn't like aesthetics. Who else? Everybody has to respond. I'm just seeing just Ruth's response, creating slides. So all right. Wow, so everybody else is comfortable with presentations. Okay, this should be fun. Okay, somebody else. Abdurrahman says brainstorming on how to organize content on slides. Yes. Martin selecting a topic. Interesting. Winner says slides too. All right, so we'll just start today's presentation. You can keep the responses coming in, but we'll just start because of our time. So I'm going to use Canva. Now, if you are not familiar with the app, there are other apps you can use for presentation designs. For instance, you can use PowerPoint. PowerPoint is what a lot of people use, so it's fine. So long as you don't go with the regular templates they have, you could do something fairly okay. You can use WPS as well. It's actually very comfortable on mobile, even more than PowerPoint. PowerPoint is more comfortable on PC. So, but then Canva is both mobile and PC. So I'll just mention some of the functions you probably will not have access to if you are using mobile, and some of the functions that might be easier if you are using PC. So this is the way Canva app looks like. On the on mobile, for instance, obviously the interface won't be as widespread as this. So it might be a bit smaller, but it's basically the same functions that you're going to see. So I'm going to open a document. So if you're going to do a presentation slide on Canva, you have to go to the search icon at the top. I think you guys can see it. I'm going to start typing. So it's going to suggest a couple of things. So I'm going to type presentation. So your normal presentation usually is in this ratio most of the time, the one where the cursor is on. So it's also going to give me templates, but I already have an idea of what I want to do. So if you're going to start with Canva, just type presentation, you click this, it will give you like a fresh page, but that's not what I want. So let's just imagine now. So if you clicked on your own end, it will be a fresh page, but on my own end, it won't be a fresh page because I already started working on something. So the first thing that you want to do when you're about to create your presentation slides is ensure you define your purpose. What exactly are you presenting on? What type of presentation is it? If you are doing a presentation for digital marketing, it won't look like a science cafe presentation. If you are doing a presentation for maybe a business plan, it's not going to look like maybe a group project. It's not going to look like your PhD slides or something like that. So knowing your purpose is very important. It's going to determine the kind of fonts you use, kind of colors you use, the way your slides look in general. And I'll give you a good example. So on Canva, just like PowerPoint, I don't remember if WPS has templates, but just like PowerPoint, it has templates. So on mobile, these icons on the left would usually be at the bottom. So you have to scroll if you're using mobile. So when you go to design, let's say we want to do a presentation, a business presentation. Let's say I want to do a business presentation and I don't want to create from the scratch. So I'm going to go to business presentations, and you can see a couple of templates. Now, let's say I pick this one. It's going to tell me if I want, it's going to ask me if I want to apply all the pages, which is fine if I do. So you can see the way the slides are, the way everything is arranged. If it fits what you want, that's fine. The essence of defining your purpose is because if you bring a science kind of presentation into this business presentation, you are going to struggle, because if you notice this business strategy, this is business strategy, it doesn't have a lot of wordy slides. Like there's not a lot of text on it. So you won't find it like nice if you are doing something that requires a lot of text. You now start looking for ways to squeeze in the text and all of that. So let's say we're doing a digital marketing presentation. Please, if I'm too fast, please let me know in the chat box. A digital marketing presentation. Let me see, digital marketing. Yeah. So there are options based on whatever it is you want. If you prefer having like maybe cartoonish kind of, let's add it as new page so that you guys can see it. See. So you can see the first, at least like probably this most likely might be the first slide. You never know. So it might be that you like more cartoon image kind of look for your design, or if you prefer, let's delete this. Let's go for something else. Let me add presentations to it. Okay. Or you prefer something like this now. It's a digital marketing presentation. So this is slightly more wordy. You can zoom in on your end if you can't see properly. This has more words in it, and the colors are vibrant because it's digital marketing. So obviously they are doing everything to catch attention. So first of all, just define your purpose. So that's the first thing you want to do. So if you define your purpose and you want to do any presentation, and you don't want to create from the scratch, that is, just come to the design option here, type any type at all. So I want to use an example. I want somebody to give me an example in the chat box, just any type of design topic that you'd like me to type in the templates section. Just a random topic in any random field. It doesn't have to be science. Anybody? Science conference, okay. Science conference presentation. Okay, let's see if we'll see something close to it. Oh, sorry. Okay. There's not a lot of it, actually, I have to say. Let's pick this one on artificial intelligence, but it's not actually even coming up like a presentation slide. So maybe we should do something on, sorry, Shakil. Maybe we should do something on marriage. Okay, wedding preparation. Wow, there's one on wedding preparation. Well, in case you're interested, it has a lot of pictures, a lot of color. That's really interesting. Let's see. Wedding organizer. Okay, a lot of wedding things here more than marriage. So the point is just that you might not find exactly what you want, but you might find something close to it. Now, in the case of not finding exactly what you want, and you get slightly confident in design, you might want to look at the option of designing yourself. So that's on that side. So I'm encouraging that at the beginning or when you start out, it's always healthy to start with templates first. And then with time, you might get comfortable and design your own from scratch. But today we're going to design from scratch. So today I'm going to be, sincere apologies to camps. I was supposed to do their design for their presentation. Somehow I couldn't do it. So I'm going to use it as a prototype. Now, Canva has this amazing option whereby, for instance, I got their slides as PDF. Canva has the option where you can upload a file as PDF, a slide, like slideshow, and it will convert it to like regular design. Yeah, so I can't demonstrate that right now. No offense. So we're just going to do this one. Now we're designing for CAMPS special, and their topic is creating science themed content for social media. Now, based on best practices, at least based on my best practices, I recommend that fonts for slides should be, if you are using maybe PowerPoint, maybe Calibri, Arial, if you're using Canva, anything sans, your Canva sans, your Open sans, your PT sans, Aileron, softer fonts in quotes. I think because most times people that use PowerPoint tend to go with Times New Roman for everything that they do. So for slides, it doesn't really help the aesthetics. Well, you might think it does, but to me, I don't think it really helps the aesthetics. So this, I'm going to change this font to Canva Sans Medium. Okay. uh the chaperone that is helping me tonight, Ruth, please can you help me list the fonts that I'm
Uh,
recommending for?
Rachel, sorry I'm interrupting. Could you just take us back to the font conversation and probably like type some in so that others can see it while I list it in the chat box? I mean, just
All
like
right.
instead of you doing it. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so back to the font conversation. For PowerPoint, a lot of persons tend to go for Times New Roman. And I think it's because we use it a lot in formatting text. But on slides, it doesn't help the aesthetics of slides. So if you're using PowerPoint, I would recommend Calibri, Arial. All those fonts that has like fatter looks in quotes. I don't know how else to describe it, but your Calibri and Arial are not available on Canva. But on PowerPoint, WPS, yes, you should see them there. Calibri, Arial, they'll be best there. Just examples, there might be other ones like that. On Canva, you can go with anything sans, like your PT sans. An example, I can show you some of these. So I'm going to type sans here now. So there are a lot of sans options actually. There's Allegria, there's Alibaba, there's blah blah blah. But I'm recommending Canva sans, PT sans, DM sans, Arimo. Yes, those are really nice fonts that you can use. So let's go with, let's try this first. If we don't like it, we can always change it. So creating science themed content for social media. Now, this is just a blank page. I want it to look more interesting. And I like using more cartoon images. You might like using images regularly. So you come to elements. On your mobile, these icons on the left are at the bottom of the screen. So you will see elements. You click elements and you search elements. So I'm going to search the exact keywords I want, which is content creation, because if it's creating content. So I'm just going to type content creation. So I like graphics. You could go to photos if you prefer image, like pictures themselves. And I'll give you an example, like this picture here. So I'm going to carry it. On your mobile, you just have to click it and then it goes. Okay. If that is what you prefer, it's fine. Then if I don't want this image and I don't want to use a photo, I want to use a graphical image that most likely I can adjust the colors and all of that. So I'm going to scroll till I find what I want. There's something I'm looking for exactly. So there are a lot of images here that are about content creation. So what you're looking for is just what is probably best suited, not too loud, wouldn't take so much attention away from what you're actually trying to tell the audience. So there's this guy's own I like. Yeah, this one. Okay. So I like it because it actually shows the person writing and you can see the likes, you can see the star and all of that. So it makes me feel like someone is curating content. You can see an image here and all of that. Now, this is subjective. You can choose to use other icons that best connote social media, content creation, blah, blah, blah. Whatever is most comfortable for you is fine. Then this color, this is, you can never go wrong with white though. Yeah, thank you for that, Ruth. You can never go wrong with white. A plain white screen is safe. Sometimes you want to spice things up. So, of social media marketing, content creation, camps, someone should give me a color they feel like they would like to see on the screen. Any color, I'm totally down with that. So please use the chat box. Just drop a color that you would like me to change it to. Wow, Shakil, as a female, it's funny why I don't even know what this color is supposed to look like. Oh, I hope I get a lot of people are going to be blue. So let's change. I typed cyan, and these are the things it's giving me. So Shakil, please tell me when we get to your shade. Is this the shade you're talking about? Because I saw Shakil's image first. So okay, I don't even know the color, Shakil.
Actually, Shakira himself does not know the color.
Wow, Shakil, that's so unfair. So let's go with sky blue. I'm just going to pick something that looks like blue. So here's the thing. If you type sky blue, you might not get the exact thing. So you come to this. Now, to change the color, you just click on the slide. Oh. Click on the slide. You come to this color icon. Like I said, on your phone, it's down below. If you're using mobile, and mobile is fine too. You click on the color. Then when you stay on the color, like it will show you the exact color code it is. So there are color codes on Canva. Like this color is our brand color in Science Cafe now. So I'm going to click this. Now, you can also do this on mobile. I can reduce the intensity of this by just going up and around the gradient. So the person that wants sky blue, am I close to your color? Yeah, okay. No, we're not doing cockroach red, please. We're not doing cockroach red. Now, it's looking somewhat alive. Now, another thing I think that can spice this up is to decorate a bit because it's not a very serious presentation so much, you know. So I'm going to use elements. Now, elements are beautiful. There are some designs you see, you just be seeing one star around the edges or one, I don't know, shape somewhere. So we're going to do that now. So someone unmuted. Okay. So when you type shapes, you're going to see that lots of shapes on Canva. You're going to see shapes at the bottom. You're going to see graphics. So just go to graphics. See all. Now, there are a number of shapes here. So I want to pick one. I want to pick this one because I like this one. So let's say I want to change this color to something more complementary. I'm not the color guru. I think that one is too light. But you guys should give me colors that you think I should change these elements to if I should change it. But while we wait for that, so the element is here at the bottom. I also want it to be on this side. So I'm going to duplicate this element here. You can also do the same thing on your phone. Now, if you notice the way the element is, if I bring it here, it's going to be awkward. It's not going to match with, sorry, I need to use a deeper color so that you guys can see what I'm saying. Yeah, I'll change it back to white. So it's not going to match if I take it to the edge like this. So one thing you can do, and you can also do this on mobile, is you flip it. So first of all, flip horizontal, then flip vertical. It's just like is it math or physics? I don't know. So they're exactly diagonal to each other. So I'm going to bring this here. Yep. So most likely we will work on these colors because I think they are clashing badly. So let's say I remove this guy. I make the blue person. I removed your blue. I don't think it's working except to do something else. So now let's work on the topic. Now, the topic here is not bad, but another important thing you have to know in design is there has to be like a scale of preference on for emphasis. People read from top to bottom, then left to right. Now, when you see this design, it might take you a while to actually focus on the title. And what we want people to notice is the title. So if a person sees this for the first time and it takes them a while to actually notice the title, that means there's a problem. So even in the title, what are the things that you want? What are the keywords that you want to highlight in the title? What part of the title do you want to highlight? For instance, this title, for instance, you want to highlight science-themed content for social media. That's the most important part of this topic. So I'm not sure this font is working. So I'm going to try Arimo. Let's try Arimo. Let's see if it will work. Then I can make it bold. Okay, it's looking different. Now, if you are using PC, there's an option where you can click a particular word or words in text box and change the features. No, I think Aribo sounds Japanese. So you can change the features of the word, like this creating. This creating is in bold already. I want to make it not bold. So it's not in bold anymore. Then I want to make this for also not bold. Maybe I want to italize. This is an example. I want to italize it. It won't affect the other ones. Now, the thing is that on mobile, you can't exactly do this. So on mobile, you might want to create two different text boxes. But if you're using mobile and you're using the internet, what I mean is, for instance, you're not doing it on Canva app, you're doing it straight from the internet. I think there's a way you can go around it. I'm not quite clear on that yet, so but I've never explored that. Now, I want to try everything in capital letter. So instead of rewriting everything I did, you can come to the side here, these three spaces, and do this, which I think looks ugly, but it's fine. Just showing. Now, on your mobile, you find this option in this bold part. Like on your mobile, there's this option represents all of that. So, but that's not what we're going for. Sorry, I need to undo what I just did. All right. Okay. So arrangement as well. Let's work on arrangement. I don't like this. So now, before we move forward, what else do you think you can do to this topic to make it pop? It's not like it's not popping already, but it's not looking what's the word? It's not looking design worthy. Okay. Who is accepting people? I think someone is not looking design worthy. Like the way the title is not looking design worthy. So who wants to suggest something we can do? Is there anybody in chat box? What do you think we can do to then after this we'll go to the next page? What do you think we can do to bring light to it a bit? Someone typing, I'm not seeing it. Ideas. No, there's no wrong answer. Okay. Somebody is talking. Sorry guys. I think I made a mistake. Okay. Wow, there are 5 people talking. Add colors to the wording. Okay. Color. Okay. No, we're not doing rainbow. Please. Color addition or sorry, can you guys hear me? Uh can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, sorry guys. I had a network disruption. Apologies. So some person said we should change the color of some of the words, and that person said we should do what? Okay, so let's try to effect some of the changes that have been advised. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take social media can be together. Okay, so let's take this down. Good. Stretch text box a bit. Someone said add colors to the wording. So should we change science, make it what color now? We're just experimenting. There's no wrong or right answer. So it's very important that nobody feels like they are making a mistake. Yes, add color. Yeah. What color suggestions you have? Please, when you give suggestions, please be specific. Imagination is very important. So I want to know how we're imagining the whole thing. Someone said increase text size. So maybe I should reduce this creating. Creating, let's bring creating down, 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 down. I'm making creating itself smaller. Okay. What else? Okay. But still, I'm not satisfied with this. So we'll come back to this later, because I think we've spent a lot of time on the front page. We'll come back to this. Now, let's go to the next page. The outline. Now, for the outline, there are a number of ways you can present your outline, a number of ways. Now, if ever you are confused, you can still go back to the template, even if you are building from the scratch, and just check anyone that has outline. You'll see a lot of creative ways to do yours, in quotes. All right, Afiz, I will put that in mind. Okay, I think it's already there. All right, so we'll come back to that at the end, but so that we can move quickly. Now, for the outline, there are a number of ways you can arrange them. Look at the way they did their own outline, but I have suggestions. First suggestion is that you number it. Now, the problem with numbering it is, if you do it in a clumsy way, it can look awkward. For instance, now this is 01. If I put 01 like this, it looks plain. It's difficult to read. So you can take the option of adding a shape, like a regular shape now. Let's say a circle. So I'm going to make circle smaller. Now on Canva, you have the option, like if you started with this shape and you don't like it, you can always just come to shape here. You see it on your mobile and change it to any other shape you feel like you want to see. That's fine. So I'm going to take this 01, move it. Let's take this guy, bring him. Oh, sorry. Let me do that. Bring him here. I think it's too big, but we can shrink it later. So uh, 01, put it on top. Now, I know you guys might not be able to see what I want to show you, so I'm going to zoom in a lot. On Canva, it's very important, and as well other designs, to understand the rules of alignment. Now, when I'm putting this 01, you can see the lines that are guiding me. These lines are going to tell me the real center of the circle. So I want to make sure it's in the real center. This black is not popping enough, so you can change text color to white. So let's reduce it back to normal. Yes. So I think this is different. So by the time you want to do this for 02, 03, 04, you don't have to build from scratch. What you'll do is, if you are using PC, you're using a PC, just click on the number, then press, okay. Okay, I hope you guys can still hear me. You click on number, you press shift, then click on the shape, click on that too, and then you group it together. Once you group it together, I can duplicate this. You can do it on your phone too. On your phone though, you click on the number, then go to the like three dots icon by the side of the bottom of your screen if you're using your phone, and then select multiple. So by the time I'm going to duplicate this now, let me see, let's Control D. So we're going to make sure it's perfectly aligned. This is an example. So I'm going to just edit, yes, long press. Yeah, just depends on the phone model you're using too. I think Afis should factor in a lot of things. Then you can just change the number of the sorry. Let's ungroup this guy. It's looking clumsy. Sorry. Okay. So by the time you're going to just keep duplicating it, change the number to get to like maybe 5. This is an example. So I want to make sure it's perfectly aligned. You can see the lines that are directing me now, so I don't do anything roughly. This is option 1. You can change the numbers. This is just option 1. You can do this. There are other styles you can use. For instance, we can decide that, let's say this is not their table of content. Let's say this is their table of content. Purpose, process, and planning. Just like the why, how, and blah, blah, blah. Just an example. Now, I can decide to use icons. For instance, you can come to elements and look for an icon that signifies purpose. While some of this might not be really practical in certain types of presentations, do you get? If you are doing a science presentation, you don't want to overdo on your use of graphics. So you want to be careful. But if you are doing something laid back, it's still not bad. It's still a good idea. So something that signifies purpose. I don't know if all these things signify purpose. Maybe you guys be good at figuring it out. Let's just imagine that we take one. So let's pick the one with people. I'm going to shrink this a bit. Let's say we pick one that deals with process. Okay, I like this. Think let's just use the same type of looks. I help you design your slides. But I'm not going to say it because the lighter is in this session. I'll say it on the group chat. There's an AI tool. You just feed it your information and it'll just do your slides for you. But lighter is here, so I don't want him to know. So for planning, we can go with anything, just icons that will signify it. Now, it's not compulsory to use this type of icons, though. Do you get? You can take it a bit further. No, I'm not going to do that. You can take it a bit further and use more colored icons. It's just an example. You can use more colored icons, can use more fine icons. You can show progression. For instance, now, maybe this is supposed to move from purpose to process to planning. That's where it's supposed to go. So we can search in elements, go for arrow. Let's pick this arrow. Now, this arrow is too long. I can shorten it. So you have to be careful when you're shortening it so that it doesn't go out of angle. Okay, careful. something like this. Say we duplicate it, and it's also like this. Point is that we just want to show that they are leading to each other. Maybe this arrow is too plain for you. You can decide to know, maybe they point to each other. You can decide how the end point is. If you want, you can do that. You can decide that for instance, if this was okay, we can decide to curve this arrow. We change the way it looks like for like this. Okay. Bring this here. We can do the same to the other arrow. The point is just, yes, it's just the aesthetics of the whole thing. However you want your arrow to flow. There are other arrows here in graphics too that you can play around with. Some of them are big, some of them are fat. It just depends on what you want to achieve. So, this is all in black and white. If this page was colored, let's say it's a deep color. Okay, I'm looking at time. Okay, let's go for yellow. Really afraid of this color. Let's just imagine the page was deeply colored. Let me see. There's been a lot of blue gang. I don't like this shade of blue. Okay, let's see darker blue. Yes. And all of this was white now. Let's say all of the words were in white. It will look different. You can change the colors of the lines too. That's absolutely fine. You can make your line have breaks. Your line can look like this. Exactly, just like that. So you can do absolutely anything you want in the aesthetics. But my advice is sometimes less is more, especially when you are starting out and the audience is not quite used to elaborate slides. It might be best for you to just go with simple things. Like I said, a plain white background will not hurt you. One, then using simple elements too will not hurt you. But if you make it too simple, it can also come out as, scary. So this looks different now. Do you get? So you might like the option of this line now, the way it is. I can change the line style. I can make the weight much more heavy. So you see the way it looks like now. It looks broken actually. So yeah, or just leave it as tiny as it is. So anyhow you want your line to be, any form of aesthetics you want, it's not impossible. So your slide can look like this too. So I'm moving away from this to the next point. If you have any questions on this or on this outline ideas or the cover page, please just drop it so that I don't forget. And if something I can just go through again, I will just do that. So let's go to a slide that has text. Now, it's important that when you know the purpose of your design, you know the purpose of your presentation, you know the way it's probably going to look like. The reason I'm saying that is because if you're going to work with a lot of lengthy text, it will be good for you to plan the way you want your slides to look. Essentially, though, I don't advise your slides having a lot of words because as you're talking, people are trying to read. So it's difficult to keep up. So if you make the words plenty, they don't even know where to focus, except there are things you want to jump out on the page. If it's a business presentation or consulting, yes, I think it's absolutely fine. If not, it might be an overkill. So now, another thing I probably omitted is that your slides should have uniformity. There's a concept in graphic design that I learned from Wells is repetition, which means that repeating fonts, repeating font sizes, repeating elements, it just helps with your design. For instance, if this is slide 1 now, slide 2 is looking like this. Now, you now see this is now slide 3. It's going to look awkward, like you'll be confused. The reader will be confused. I think there's a way our brain matches repetition. It just follows in that pattern. Our brain sometimes sees pattern better. So What you can do, if I'm going to advise you, let's say you agree that you want to use this first page. This first page is what you want to use. I would advise that you just duplicate this page and edit the things in it. That's advice number one. So that the next page that will come, you just change the words inside, but you still maintain the element. So that's that on that. Before I lose track of the next thing, sorry. Then this part. Now, if you have listicles, like maybe a list of things that you want to drop on your slide, blah, 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 you might want to not make the slide look too plain. For instance, now this slide is not, there's nothing wrong with this slide though. I think it's, if I change the color now, this is just like gray. If I change it to black now, probably you can see better. But it just looks really bland. Like there's nothing, let me change this font. Okay. There's nothing happening with the slide. It looks like a regular, no offense now, PowerPoint or WPS slide. Just say. Now you can, like I said, using the numbering idea that I gave, you can choose to number it, make it look finer. You can choose not to use these bullet points now and use maybe a shape. I'm just going to pick this circle and change it. So like this circle now, I'm going to change it to, let's say we want to use a star. Is this even a star? Yeah, I think it is. Make it smaller. Sorry, it's on the text box. Yeah, just bring it here. So I might choose to remove all these bullet points and make this star really small. I'm just saying, it's just an option that you can think about. You can choose to do that. Or you can choose to maybe make the page look lively. You can choose to add an image. For instance, now this page is telling us how to curate. This is the process, like the process of creating the science team content. So they're saying, know your audience, drop the jargon, blah, blah, blah. But the essence is how. So I can come to elements now. Since I'm doing something that is science themed, I can do a lot of graphical things. So no, if I use how, it's going to give me a question mark. So let me use the word process. I can choose to use this image now. Bring it here. I don't really like colors, so let's go with Shaquille's. No, this does not blend the page. Let's go with Shaquille's colors. Sorry, Shaquille. Yes, I might choose to just add something to the page that will make it lively, not something too busy. Or if maybe you are working with pictures now, for instance, and you want to add a picture instead. So let's see. And crop the image now and put it, sorry, I want to make this smaller and fix it later. And bring it here. Now the image might look out of place though on the page, which sometimes might not be a bad thing if you want to make it fill up the page, like maybe fill up this entire space like this. It might not be a terrible thing. It might still look okay. By the time you crop this in, I'm going to crop now. This might not be terrible. Or if you have access to Canva Pro, you can edit image and remove the background of the image. So it usually takes a bit of a process. So if you remove the background of the image, it's just going to flow with the page. Like doesn't have its own background. So I can now make this bigger. That if you want to use an image though. Some people prefer images to, please ignore the star that you're seeing. Some people prefer images to graphics. So if you want to do this, absolutely fine. But just make sure that whatever you are bringing is not overly distracting from what you want people to take away from your slide. That's the essential point. You still have the option of, okay, I'm going to undo what I did. Okay. You still have the option of, this thing just went back to normal. Okay. You have the option of putting it in a frame. Now you can use different frames. There are frames on Canva. So, sorry, let me use all frames. So you see different frames. So it's our frames, a circle frame, just saying. So bring this image. Yep. Then insert the image into the, I'm sorry, it seems I'm fast, but I'm just assuming that you might get the point of what I'm saying. It's just like inserting an image to something. You might not use this shape of frame though. You might use another shape of frame, but if you don't put the image in a frame, if you don't remove the background, you might just want to make it fill the entire section of the page. But like I said, whatever you are using, just make sure it doesn't distract from the overall look. And understand that whatever you are doing here, by the time you have other slides that look like this, it might be best to just continue the pattern. So on this page, ask yourself when you are done, what's the first thing you want your people to notice? Do you want them to notice your how first? If you want them to notice the know your audience first, you might not really need an image. Maybe just a small graphic to help you. Yes, so I think that's that on that. I hope I'm not even forgetting anything. Okay, so quickly, I'm sorry it seems I'm rushing, but I'm just being conscious of the time. Then the next part, we've done cover page, outline, use of images or graphics. So next one is data representation. I don't like this font. This font reminds me of kind of fonts that Wealth likes. So data representation in Science Cafe. Now, I believe that a number of us do some, I don't know, slides that require data representation. Now, Canva is amazing. I have to say that. You can, let's say we want to do gender representation in Science Cafe. Gender representation in Science Cafe. Now, it's well known that we have more males than females. So I'm saying, or hypothetically, that I think we have like 70% males to females, like 30% females. So I want to represent that data. So I'll come to charts. I'll come to apps rather. I'm already saying charts. I'll come to apps rather. You can see apps at the bottom. It's available too on your regular, like on mobile rather. So there are a number of apps I can use. I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to see charts. Now, if you click on charts, there's everything. Your bar charts, your line charts, your pie, your infographic chart, blah, blah, blah. If I had heavy data to compare, I might go for a line chart. Thing is, if I click on line charts now, for instance, let's shrink it a bit so you guys can see better. Okay. If I go for a line chart, I can enter in my data. It's not just for aesthetics. So you can see the data option by the side. Item one, the series, by the side and all of that, the points. So I can choose to do that too. Add all the data and to reflect here for me. Then I can change the colors of the I can change the colors of the lines too to really stand out against each other. So let me make it slightly bigger so that you guys can see. And I can enter data if I want, but this is not the kind of chart I want. So since I'm going to do something about percentage and it's just two, so I'm going to go to this infographic chart now. I can pick this. So if I pick this, I can also edit. I can choose the percentage. So since I'm saying 70% of for males, I can change the line, reduce the size. I can choose to put a percentage label. It will appear automatically. This 70% I want to be seen. If I decide that I don't want this end point to be round, I can fix it. Just have sharper look. That's that. Then I can change the colors. Maybe I want to go for females as red, guys as yellow. Just this is an example. I can choose to change the font of this 70% to Arimo. Then even if I change my mind and say I don't want this round look anymore, I can simply come here now and go to maybe show a radial progress instead, which doesn't fit what I want actually. Or I want to do a progress bar. And progress bar will work for, when you are doing, if you're like, this is out of context now. If you are doing maybe your resume design on Canva and you want to show maybe your fluency level, your proficiency level in something, you can consider this. Just saying. So I can just change it to whatever I feel like kind of captures the data representation idea more. So if I was going to look at the participation now of females to male over a course of time, now the data people in the community should help me with this. Which chart should I use? I want to compare activity levels of males and females over the past couple of months. These are remote things. I think you guys should stop it. It's not that deep. Okay, yes. I want to compare the activity levels of males and females in the community over the past couple of months, maybe over like 6 months. So, what charts should I use to test that out? The line. Okay. Histogram. Wow. That cafe is blessed with with a lot of brains. Oh. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, whatever it is that is important to you, do you get? However you want to represent your data, you can also look at the options here. It would really help your presentation rather than maybe use something else and have to bring it here. And by the side though, I think PowerPoint doesn't have terrible charts, but if you have access to maybe ampler charts, they have Heatmap option. Okay, I haven't explored that, but I can search for it. Before I search for that, now for this data now, I'm coming to that, Shakil. For this data now, there's an option to upload a CSV file. Like for instance, you have the data on maybe an Excel sheet or something. You can upload it here and it just automatically fills everything in. So there's no need for you to manually come and do the work again. So you said we should look for heat map. I think I saw something like that. Oh, they don't have. Surprising. They don't have Shakil. Maybe I'll ask them. You can also message them on Instagram or something to find out. So this is the part of data representation. And even when you represent your data, you can still put words by the side and just make it aesthetically pleasing. So any questions so far? Yeah, thank you, Israel. Okay, so the last, should I say last point now? Or second to last point. Now, when you have lengthy text, it can be difficult, particularly if your text is just too much. Personally, I don't advise lengthy text on slides, but then, like for instance, Science Cafe now, people get to access the slides and they can read. Yes, they can read. We can animate a video. We can do that if you want. We can animate slides if you want. So I can demonstrate that at least as extra. Is that what you're asking, Afiz? Please let me know in the chat box. So, so for lengthy text, you want to be careful. If possible, if the detail is not necessary, there's no need to put it there. So I'm going to demonstrate this text. I think this text is lengthy and it looks anyhow right now. So I'm going to, wherever there's a full stop, I'm going to start on a new line to make it look slightly better. Now, can someone pronounce this font's name? It's Trochi. But if I say Trochi now, everybody's going to say that it sounds like a Yoruba font or something. So there's this option. So forgive me, in this slide, we might not have a header. I don't think I have the patience to look for a header. Now, the way this is Italian, okay? Okay. Now, the way this text is, there's also probably nothing wrong with it. The text your own text might be more than this. So, like for instance, now maybe this text is like in two parts now. Maybe it's in two parts like this, like something like this now. Now, you might just want to, there are things you can do to the text to not make it look bland or boring. I know the page looks boring, so I'm going to do something to, let's just leave the page. You can understand that it's a fine page and all of that. But we can do things to this text that will make it look nice. Now, this is where typography comes in. Typography is a course. People take typography as a course. So please, if you don't get the right font, there's nothing wrong with you. I still struggle with fonts and I'm not even the expert. In fact, I know people that love one font. I'm going to mention his name, Wealth. Wealth loves just one particular font. If you notice, there are some science cafe flyers that look different. That's because he likes that font. And I'm not going to mention the font so that you guys don't yab him about it. But he loves the font. Some designers or some people are like that. They just have this font they like and they will use it. In this design, it might be a Remo for me, but actually I like Aileron more. So typography is important. Now, another part is you need to know your use of bolding text, emphasis. Now, for instance, if this text was supposed to highlight certain parts, like for instance, let's say I want to highlight this managing conflict. I want to highlight managing conflict. Let's say the text is more lengthy than this, so I can make this bold. So when you're reading it, managing conflicts pops out. Let's say sweeping things under the carpet, like some people in this session do. I want to make it pop out. I can make it bold as well. It pops out, you see it. I can decide to change the color of these sweeping things under the carpet to maybe a shade of red that is still bold. That still works. So when it comes to lengthy text, you have to think of what you want to prioritize in the text. If you want some words to pop out more for people, fine, use bold, use the bold option. Then you can italicize as well. You can decide to italicize. You get like this conflict now. Why? You can decide to italicize. That's absolutely fine. Then if you think that you want it to fill the page more and you don't want it to get bigger, you can, change your line spacing, letter spacing. If I change my line spacing, this is what's going to happen. So let me Control A everything. Spacing, I can increase the line spacing so much that you can see it's already looking slightly different. I'm just saying there are options. Then maybe you want to switch things up for some reason. Maybe the font you are using is too squeezed. You want to increase your letter spacing. This is also an option. This is now looking like that project work look that we usually have. So this is an option for lengthy text. If you want to, sorry. So if you want to take these options, they're absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. So you also want to think about alignment with your lengthy text. Do you want to left align, right align? I think we all know this part most of the time. If you put the text like this and you leave it like this and your slide looks like this, it doesn't look professional. So this might be safe. especially if maybe you want to put an image. So let me look for a picture of somebody in the cafe to put next to the image, just to spice things up. Sorry about the many images. Okay, so let's use Hamed's own. Sorry, Sheriff Dean's own. Okay, sounds from our citizen. Let's just imagine that his image is, I don't know, is important to the presentation, or you need the image to illustrate something. I'm just saying. And please, the only reason why I'm using his own because I don't have access, like to look for other people's on right now might not be the easiest thing. So if he's in this session, sincere apologies. I mean, no bad blood. So just saying, maybe the image is important to it. So it could look, it could look like this. It's just an example. So the next thing, I'm sorry, I'm checking my notes to make sure that yes. Then another thing I want to talk about is layout. Just like I said, you need to define your layout. If you are going to go with this type of look, maybe your entire slide is going to have pictures by the side, words here. It's just best you maintain it. Like I said, repetition is good, uniformity is good. You should not come and you don't use a font like this here and this is the way this slide looks like, and the other slide looks like, okay, this don't and slide 2 looks like this slide 2, this slide 3. See how awkward things are looking, and it's a circle frame. This is now slide 4, then this is slide 5. It's going to not look nice. So just repeat your font, repeat your design, repeat your font size if possible, and your layout. So if all the pictures, if you are going to use pictures in your slide, just if this is how you want your pictures, let it be like this. If you want them to be in frame, put everything in frame. It will help it to be more organized. Then the last slide, which yes, you can. Look, templates. I don't understand, like a PowerPoint template that you've already put your work on. Is that what you mean? Okay, I guess you're still typing. So what I'm asking, Shakir, is are you asking if, for instance, maybe you started designing on PowerPoint and you now want to switch to Canva, can you import it
Yes.
into Canva? Yes, yes, you can. If that's what you're asking, yes, you can. You can do, even if it's PDF form, you can just even when you have the Canva app on mobile, for example, if you want to open any documents PDF, Canva will be suggested now because they've included Canva doc option. So it opens your PDF as a slide you can edit. Even if it was created by Canva, like Canva PDF, you already downloaded as PDF because slides on Canva download as PDF, it's not PPT. So if you bring it back to Canva, it will still be editable. So yeah. Then the last slide, the thank you slide. I personally feel like there's no need to overdo it. I want to comment that I saw Nosa's own. I found it interesting. It was a snail. Yeah, he used a picture of a snail doing his own. So simple thank you is fine. If, like for instance, we started with the old reddish thing with our own front page, and we just let me demonstrate so we don't have to guess what I'm saying. Okay, let's use this. So your thank you, if you want to put an image of you waving, please have fun by all means. Mine is just don't overdo it. Sometimes less is more. Your thank you can just be this really big, simple thank you. But I'll change the color of this to black itself. Or you can use something, maybe an image, an element that represents thank you for you. Just saying. Maybe this is how you want to do your own thank you. It's fine. Maybe you want to do an applause or standing ovation. It's fine. But I think the thank you slide doesn't need to be overdone. There's no need for overdoing it. Simple thank you is fine. I don't think anybody pays attention to that a lot. So, any questions on this before I go to the option of animating your presentation slide, which is the last part of this presentation? I'm sorry since I'm taking time. I hope we'll have time for question and answer. I was supposed to close by 9 on the dot. So yeah. Any questions on this before I go to animating slides? Okay. So while I'm waiting for questions, I want to use a slide that is not too wordy or plenty. No. Sorry. I'm looking for a particular. Yes. Let me make a copy of this. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate using this because it has less text and I think it's easier to just work with. You won't want to animate a slide that has a lot of text. It's really stressful. Now, when it comes to animating your slide, you have to think of a lot of factors. For instance, you can animate this graphic, animate the text, and just general animation generally. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to start with this image. When I click on this image, I'll go to the option of animate. There are different ways it can look. If I want it to rise, maybe go to the left, fade. You see different options. I guess you guys can see it. Can you guys, do you guys understand what is going on? Let me make sure we're on the same page, please. I just need yes or no in chat box. Ruth, you're my sister, so I think you naturally say yes. Okay, people are saying yes. Okay. So I should use the breathe one. Okay. So when I click this breathe, I have the option of whether I want it to be in or out. What I mean is, will the breathing be concentrated within, if you can see the way it's going within, or it will come as if it's coming out of the page? So I have the option of doing that. So let's say I want to do in. I want to do in. Then you can choose the scales, but the scale, say some of these things are pro options though. So let's just, that's animated. Now the text, I want to animate the text. I can, somebody's unmuted. Can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Okay, so I can animate the text too. I can make it rise up, pan, fade, pop. Maybe you want it to pop. Maybe you want it to do as if it's being written. You want it to breathe like the image. So for the text, I think this wipe is best because it shows as if it's being written at the same time. Like, let me show you guys again. Then you can try the drifting option as if the text is coming slowly. Or tectonic, anyone, baseline. But I prefer the wipe. Now this is basic though. There are other ones like this typewriter now is going to type the text out. So let's say we want to choose typewriter. Let's say we want to choose typewriter. So let's choose typewriter. So now, do you want it to type on entry or on exit? The example is this, on exit. If it's on exit, by the time we're leaving the page, that's when it will happen. On entry, as the page, as the stuff is happening, that's when it's going to like happen. Or both. So I want to choose on entry. Just when we're entering the page, that's what I want to happen. Then the writing style, do I want this feature? Now, this is a pro feature though. If you don't have Canva Pro, you might not be able to go to this extent. So please have that in mind. Canva Pro is 2,800 per month. I think for a team of 4, for those interested. Then the writing style, do I want it to type by character or by word? I want character. Then the speed, do I want it fast or slow? I think I want it a little faster. So we're good on that. So that's this slide. Okay. Then on this slide, basically we might decide to do the same thing that we did. Now there are some graphics that there's some graphics that will not allow the animation option because of typography they are. Like for instance, this will allow the animation option. This will not. The trash bag will not. Just keep that in mind. So when you're choosing, if it's graphic you want to use in this kind of design, try to pick the ones that are similar. So I want to animate this. We're just going to use the breathing option too. Then the text, we're going to use said we're using the typewriter on entry. Oof. Yeah. Okay. Normally it would have asked me if I want to do it across all the pages, but it's not doing that. So I'm just going to not bother myself. Now, also you can choose the timing per slide. For instance, I can come here and say I want every slide should as in it should take nothing less than maybe 4 seconds per slide. I can apply this to all the pages. So every page is 4 seconds each. So I've already done the animation for some of them. So you might see it happen. So before I go to that, we need to add music. We need to add music. Wait, sorry, guys. Sorry, I forgot one thing. Animate the page as well. So it's 3 animations if you want. If you like, you don't have to animate all this text and the image, or if you want to. So you can animate the pages too, how the stuff appears. I'm just going to not do this at all. I'm going to leave it alone. So let me play it first and see if we get what we want. So already you might not hear anything because the volume of the laptop is down because of Zoom. But the point is that animation takes a while, so don't beat yourself up. That's the point. Just try out all the features that you like. But just like you have demonstrated now, the breed option is good for images. Yeah. Well, it de- it de- okay. There are so many Canva gurus talking. I don't even know what to say again, but it depends now because it's not because the others have been animated actually. If it's just like this font now, if I want to change the font to tan, it will tell me should I change everything. It's going to change everything that looks like that font. So I don't really think that's the problem. Because when I was doing it, actually, there's some things I had to do per page. So it's probably based on that fact too. So there are some things that might be per page. For instance, Canva does not have the option of you just changing things on one page. It has to be across pages. But you have a good point, Afis. That could be part of the reason. Yeah. So any other questions? Because I think I've lost track of what I'm saying, but any other questions? I'm sorry, I feel a bit distracted. So maybe you guys should ask questions to bring me back on track. So you can animate everything on the page if you wanted to. You can even animate this one here at the top if you feel like, and You can make anything disappear. You can animate this science cafe logo if you like how you want it to appear. It's anything you want, you can actually do it. So just to recap before questions come up, if you have difficulty with Canva presentations, please, I refer you to Wealth and Afiz. They are gurus. I'm learning from them. But that's by the side. Just quick recap. Remember that whenever you are doing a presentation, define your purpose. What are you presenting for? What's the audience like? It will help you to know how it's supposed to look like. If you are presenting for, God forbid, no, let me not say God forbid. If maybe the business you are doing is maybe more, the color is yellow. Yellow is a celebratory color. Are you celebrating that people are dying? Stuff like that. So you want to consider those things. When you, after establishing your purpose, plan your presentation slides. Like plan it like the first slide should be your cover page, your outline. Then what should come next in your outline? You can ask yourself the what, why, how, when question, whatever it is, to just get your slides in an orderly way. Then, depending on if you're using a lot of text, if you're using a lot of text, you want to think of how to either reduce the text or make important things pop up. That, for instance, now if you're using text that is going to talk about numbers, data, it might be better for you to just use charts rather than, you know. I don't understand your question, Afiz. Are you asking if you can animate the slides, or if you can make an like animated video, like a video of animated characters in quotes, if you get what I'm trying to say, like cartoon? Is that the question? Wait, okay, I'm going to check. Please, can you respond in the chat box? Thank you. So you want to think about that too. So think about your typography. Do you get? If you use for this kind of thing that would be, that would be in a video form, if you use a font that looks like this, maybe something like this. This is not the best font for this kind of design. So it's not going to come out well at all. So think about typography. If you are not sure, you can go online. You can check best fonts for science presentation. You'll be shocked. You see a lot of things on Google, and I don't think there's actually any expert. I'm not the expert. I can only advise based on some of the things I've done. So think about that too. Think about uniformity, the colors you are using, your fonts. Repeat your fonts. You don't have to use 5,000 fonts, and sometimes less is more. Don't overfill your slide, but less is more sometimes does not mean scanty or empty. There are still ways to make the slides look aesthetically pleasing. So when you think about creating your presentation slide, think about how you want to communicate clearly, but in a matter that would please people's eyes, so that when they see your slides, they like the slides and they're encouraged to follow what you're saying. A person could be doing an amazing presentation, and when you just see the slides being projected, you'll be distracted. You get? So that's also another point. For instance, if the slide is really empty in quotes and it's a long presentation, you get fagged out or tired. But if the slide has maybe visually appealing properties, yes, it's easier for you to stay on course in the presentation. So you want to just keep all those things in mind, and how you use your images. If the images are not necessary, you can remove them. It's not important that all slides you have images. It's not important at all. But what images can do, there's no need to make text to it. And what text can do, there's no need to make images to it. So you just ask yourself, what do you want people to see when they look at your slide? What is most important? What do you want to highlight in your slide? What are the other properties around your slide that will help you to um, get it well? So if for further information, I want to recommend a YouTube channel. I don't know, maybe we know about it. Analyst Academy. They are really good with presentation slides. I think for now, McKinsey is probably one of the best when it comes to slides making. So, and they retouch some of their slides. So you can check out Analyst Academy. Even I think some of their classes might be paid, but you can watch YouTube videos on how to touch up your PowerPoint slides, how to incorporate icons or elements. That's there too. Some people on YouTube also do videos on how to use Canva for presentation slides. I'm encouraging you to go in that direction too. Problem is, the thing is, nobody's an island of knowledge. So just check things out. If there's anything you're not sure about, you can ask me. Out of the little knowledge I have, I can share. You can ask Wealth. Out of the plenty knowledge he has, you can share. You can ask Hafiz too, and a couple of other people, or just go on YouTube and check out what you want to do. So on that note, if there are any more questions or anything I didn't mention, we can take that now. We're about to close, so we're about to finish this session rather.
Hello, can you hear me?
Wow, whose voice is this? Good evening.
Sorry, this is
Hafiz.
Safi.
Oh, sorry. It sounded really different. Okay, please go on.
Yeah, my voice has to be different this time because of the time of the day that I am here. Hello,
All
so
right.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so yeah, the question that I have with respect to the animation has to do with there's this animation pattern that we are used to on Microsoft's PowerPoint that you can, the kind of animation that you incorporate into your slide in such a way that you be the one to control when something comes up after another when you are presenting. So is that possible with Canva?
Is it the question I want to get clearly? Are you when you mean control things coming up one after the other? Is it elements of each page or the pages
Yes, the
themselves?
element of each page. The element of
You
each page.
Yeah, you can do that with Canva. Though obviously animations are a tricky thing. I won't say I'm the expert, so I might not be able to give you an A to Z on how to do it, but you can. You can perfectly time everything. Perfectly timed now. But because Canva will be in motion, it might be slightly more difficult, but you can perfectly time everything to make some things pop first before the others. But it might take more skill and knowledge, but it is possible.
Okay.
Did I get your question?
Yeah, I
If I
think you
didn't,
did,
we
but
can chat about it later then.
okay. I think you did, but in using Microsoft PowerPoint, there are some that you don't have to time. You just, use clicking. You'll be the one to decide when to pop those things up when you are making the presentation proper.
Oh,
So you understand what I'm trying to say now?
yeah, I get what you're saying now. So for
Yes.
Canva, as far as I know, and I stand to be corrected, that future, I haven't seen it yet. As far as I know, I haven't seen the future yet. I've not heard about it, but I can make some research and I'll get back to you.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you too. So, any other questions, please? Oh, Shaki, please go ahead. You're unmuted already. I can't really hear you. Okay,
Can you
yeah,
hear me?
I hear you. Yes, I can.
All right, great. So thank you very much. I'd just like to make a comment about the animation on Canva. I like it
Okay.
because unlike Microsoft, there's a Microsoft PowerPoint where you can. I may be wrong, but I think you can just use only one type of animation per slide. But from your demonstration, you can use multiple animations for different elements within the same slide. So that's really brilliant. So I'd like to ask, yes, it's one could design such a beautiful slides presentation on Canva, but when you, especially with the animation and things like that, does it appear the way it has been done when you want to present it on, let's say, on Microsoft PowerPoint, or do you have to present your slides on Canva to actually get the same effects, if you understand what I mean? So that is going to be the first question.
Okay.
Then the second question is, you gave this advice about paying attention to what you want to what you want to draw attention to within the slide and things like, is it a text, is it an image, and things like that. But really, how can you, I'm not sure if I missed it, but if, for instance, okay, you want to draw attention, I think it's easier to draw attention to an image. You can make it large, you can make it, but if it's a text, what would you advise if you want to draw attention to that?
All right. Thanks, Shakil. First of all, let me apologize to everybody in this session. Normally, we close out the presentations by 9, but sincere apologies that we're still here till this time. Apologies. So, your first question about how you present Canva design. So now, for Canva, unlike the option of, you do the presentation, you open Canva for the presentation, you have the option of downloading it as a PDF. Then when you want to share this slide, maybe on a screen or something, you can use any other thing to share it. Any other thing that can share a PDF slide. It's totally fine. Because Canva does not support PPT downloads. It doesn't have that option as far as I know yet. So then if it's like an animated video now, you're going to download it as an MP4, like as a video. So by the time you're going to present it, you're going to display it using video display applications in quotes. So you don't, for instance, if I'm going to present, say, this now in maybe during a session, Science Cafe, I'll just download this as a PDF. Then I can use Adobe. I can use whatever thing I want to use in sharing it as a PDF, as PDF slide to share it. It will still come out normal. So I don't have to let it stay on Canva to share it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So once it leaves Canva, it can exist. And I think it's the same for PowerPoint, obviously, but it can exist independently and can be opened on any other software. If the video is animated, if you do a video with Canva, just download the video, do you get, and you can use your video display applications, like anyone at all, to display it or watch it. So it can be independent, if I am getting your question correctly. Then the second, okay, then the second question about how to highlight a text, multiple text. I think I demonstrated that, maybe skipped it, but can do it again, just very fast. So I said that if you have a lot of text now and you want to bring attention to some parts of the text, you can decide to, especially if you're using PC, you can decide to make some parts bold, like this managing conflict. Now you just highlight that part of it. No, it's not, Afiz. Sorry. So you can highlight that part of it and make it bold. So by the time you're looking at this text, managing conflicts will jump out at you. Maybe in this text, there's a particular maybe amount of money or data or location that you want people to notice. So you can just make it bold. So it's a lot of text, but people would notice the ones in bold faster. Or you can even, when you make it bold, if for instance, this page was yellow or something, if I make it bold with black, okay, thick black might be fine. I can change the colors. The colors will help people look for things it will catch eyes faster. So by the time you see something black, something in red, you're like, okay, so what's the correlation? What's going on between these two? It's easier for people to follow. It's just a suggestion. So a good amount of them are like, you can actually do well with Canva, like for free. Like you can download things, use templates, some templates. That's what I mean. Some templates rather. And before, like for instance, this are free good things that you can use, free good things that you can use on Canva. But if you want to really enjoy some benefits, you might consider Canva Pro. But even if you don't have Canva Pro, please don't be discouraged. There are some designs that you can still do without the Pro option. So yeah. Yeah, well, I agree, but I think I'm just looking at it from the option of opening the Canva app with all of its technicalities. Do you get, like, it's not like it's terrible. For instance, if I wanted to play this video on Canva, the video is okay. Why? Okay, that's changed. So it might not be a terrible option, but I'm just saying that it can exist independently and you don't need to rely on Canva to, display it and all of that. So yeah, but there's the option of locking everything though on the screen. There's that option, route of locking everything on the screen, like this option on the screen here. I can lock the background so that nothing, I can control A everything and lock it. So nothing moves, nothing happens to the screen. Even if I tap, 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 even if I tap and tap and tap, I cannot touch. Oh, this is being recorded. Please cut this part out. But even if I tap and tap and tap, I can't change anything because it's already locked. So you can consider that option as well. And it's not a pro option. The locking option is not a pro option. All right. So any other questions, contributions, worries, concerns? So normally whenever I have to do, like, maybe share my small amount of knowledge, what has told me that I should start being humble, share my small amount of knowledge. I like to give people a bit of homework because I feel like practice makes perfect. By the time you start designing your own slides and you want to do aesthetics, in fact, when you look back on the ones you've done before, you might almost faint. I think I saw something like a design I did for someone, I almost fainted. It was this year I did the design, but I couldn't believe I did design. It looks so ugly in my eye. But the thing is that with practice, you get better. So home assignment, that's the same thing. But I wanted to do an assignment for everybody. And it's not compulsory you do it, but I think it will just help you improve. So even if you're not using Canva and you're using PowerPoint, I'd like done before, especially if you're using Canva, it will be easier for me to grade it. But if just any presentation we've done before, I just need 4 pages. You can have the cover page, the outline, a page that probably has lengthy text, and one that probably has charts. Yes, and your thank you page, that's like 5 pages. Then you could revamp that. You can just take pieces and pieces and pieces, and you can revamp that um design. And then I'm open, my DM is open. You can send it to me on WhatsApp. Then we can discuss on how you can make it better. Or if you just need an expert, no, let's say expert. If you need opinion, maybe any opinion or correction or advice or guide on how to make it better, I'm open to that. And if you want to try the animation option too, I'm open to that. So I think that's just my assignment. It's optional, but let's just have it in mind. If you're interested, it's fine. You can reach out to me and send it to my DM and we can have conversation about it. So um on that note, if there's anything I missed, sincere apologies. But Israel, okay, I don't think you can unmute right now. Can you?
Yes, I can. Good evening, Rachel. Good
All
evening,
right.
everyone. Okay, thanks a lot, Rachel, for that amazing session. I really learned a lot. Good evening, everyone. So I think the questions that we have been answered already. So, like just like she said, if we have any other question, we can always reach out to her. So I think the okay, so the assignment has been posted already too. So we can. I'm not sure I got that correctly. Anyways, but
Yeah, like
okay.
okay, for the content, you need one, like it has to be 2 pages, one that has a lengthy text and one that is probably using charts. maybe it has data that you want to project. But if what you have doesn't, if what you want to do rather doesn't have charts or anything, that's absolutely fine too.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rachel. Thanks to everyone for coming around. We had an amazing session tonight. So, okay. I think that will be all for tonight. Thanks a lot for coming. Let's have a wonderful. Okay, but before we leave, Ruth has something for us. So, Ruth, please, can you go ahead, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Israel. So before people start leaving, just a few things that we should note as a community. The first is, I think it's quite obvious, there is no attendance for tonight. And the second is that application is still open to people that are looking to join the community. So make sure that you share with people. Is that also applications to join volunteering teams, which is camps or synthesis. So for those who are not aware, Rachel is the team lead for the Synthase group. Synthase covers all our content creation and designs. And then there's camps that does the social media management. So if you're looking to volunteer in any of these teams and just, get like experience that on normal day you might not have access to, or you might not really have time to go for, I strongly encourage that you do that. We're going to share the link again for people that want to volunteer. And if you've not shared the application details with people in your contacts, I think you should start doing that now. So thank you, Israel. That's just what I wanted to share.
All right. Thank you, Ruth. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Let's have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Am I the only one that cannot hear?